let's just talk about what's going on now. Trump assassination attempt, y'all. And so let's talk about this. Let me go ahead and go on outside because it's going to be a little bit loud inside and since I'm playing the game. What's up? And so let's get started here. Nobody. I'm doing a video. We're gonna get started here in a minute. Go ahead and head on outside. We're in the new place now, you guys. So we're trying to keep things straight, but you know how that go. But yeah, we're gonna talk about the Trump assassination, y'all. You mean for dinner? Burgers? Is that what you want? Everybody want burgers or street meat? I don't know, maybe street meat. Because burgers are pretty expensive right now. Alright, you guys, give me 1 second. We're in the new place, guys. The walls aren't painted yet, but we are getting there. So shalom, shalom, Mishpachah. This is Yared Yao checking in. Yeah, this Trump assassination. So you guys who know will already know that this has been something that's been in the works for a very long time. If you guys have been paying attention to all the propaganda and the, what do you call it, predictive programming around Donald Trump, they've been predicting his assassination for years now. Not only years, you guys, but decades. Like 50 years ago, his assassination was predicted. More than 50. It's like 75 years ago. What was it? Have you guys seen the cowboy show that has a man named Trump in it? And so you guys, you guys have to recognize that there is nothing done by mistake in the media, in the mainstream, media matrix. There's nothing done by mistake. All of these things are done for you to be influenced. These are all psychological events. I put out a video yesterday about Julio Fulio and his literal assassination being propaganda against the black community in a variety of different ways to traumatize, to, what do you call it when to electrify, to for people to pay attention in this direction and not in another direction. All those things, and also the supernatural aspect of it, all those things are, psychological conditioning for the black community to traumatize you and to get you in a state of mind that, that things are hopeless or, you know, that things are going down and, there's nothing that you can do about it, to demoralize you as a people, as a community. That's what it's doing. Now, for Trump, what is it doing? For the assassination attempt. And I really wanted to get on live and explain this to you guys because it is important that you guys understand how these things work, right? There's a spirit that moves in the world that is opposite of the Father's spirit, opposite of the Most High spirit, and it looks to deceive, and it uses witchcraft and spellcraft in order to do this. And 200 years ago, witchcraft, spellcraft looked a certain way, but today it looks different. See, what you guys were looking at was a love spell. Do you see what I'm saying? This is a love spell. This is how you garnish the support for a large portion of people. Do you see what I'm saying? And if you already had support, this is how you intensify that support. Do you see what I mean? This is the way that witchcraft works in the new millennium. You have to have a person that is going to, you know, galvanize a large group of people in a certain direction. And the only way to do that is for people to love that person. And in order for people to love that person, they have to think that this person is some sort of legendary individual. Do you guys understand what I mean? They have to be viewed as a legendary individual. So they've already, to show you what I'm talking about, um, the guy that made the attempt on Donald Trump, his name has three names, right? I can't remember what the full name was, but it was Crooks. One of them was Crooks. So it's something something Crooks. The presidential assassinations have always had three assassins have always had three names, like John Wilkes Booth, and well, who was it? Hinckley, the one that tried to assassinate Reagan. All of them. If you go back and look, they've all had three names. Why? I don't know why they've had three names, but the fact that they've all connected for the past 200 years or 150 years and have three names means that they are all planned by the same structure of psychological programming. Do you see what I'm saying? It's all planned in that way. Oh, what was his name? Oswald. I can't remember Oswald's first name or the first two names. Oswald, something, something Oswald. So you guys can see that there's a pattern of three named individuals trying to kill presidents. There shouldn't be that pattern, right? Or even in the media, since they know that pattern exists, why perpetuate it and continue to call this guy, let's just say his name is Jonathan Davis Brooks. Why continue to do that if you know that this is this pattern that goes back for this 150 years or so? Why continue to do that unless you need to, unless there's some sort of connection that you want to make subliminally apparent, right? And so what connection is that? That the people who are fighting for freedom often get assassinated. They're comparing Donald Trump now to President Lincoln. Do you see what I'm saying? And we know President Lincoln wasn't all that, wasn't necessarily trying to free the slaves for the slaves' sake. We know that he was, you know, economically motivated, he was politically motivated, and he didn't really care whether, black folks were free or not, but he wanted to win his war. And so making him a symbol for freedom fighting is really kind of, is up in the air. But to connect this modern supremacist, which is what he is, which is what both candidates are, to connect this modern white supremacist to the ancient, hey, good afternoon, y'all. Doing good. We're getting in there. Shalom, shalom. But to connect this modern supremacist to the ancient concept of fighting for the freedom and salvation of black people in America, I mean, it's not only disingenuous, it's witchcraft, right? It's witchcraft. It's the creation of a legend. Do you understand what I'm saying? They are legend created. That's what they're doing. And it goes back a very, very long time. I want you guys to do the research on this. There was a cowboy TV show back in the 50s, right? And in this cowboy TV show, there's, of course, the regular characters that appear every week on the TV show. It's in black and white, y'all. And then there's this character that is new to this particular episode of the Cowboy Show. And I can't remember exactly what the name of the show was. I'm going to go back after I get finished with this video and look it up and see if I can't find what the name of that cowboy picture was. But in the show, there's a character named Trump. And this guy doesn't look like the Trump that we know. He looks like his dad, right? He's bald-headed. He's got black hair, and he's got this big mustache. That's what Trump's dad looked like, right? And so and then, of course, in the 1950s, this show came out in like 1954, 55. The date is in the opening credits. So we know this is an old picture. It's not no AI generated nothing. We first seen this, several years ago, back when COVID was first coming out. We stumbled upon this episode that has Trump's name in it, has Trump's character in it. And look, guys, If you'll go back in my videos and watch the first End of the World video, it's got this whole thing in there. It's from 3, 4 years ago. But Trump is in there, and he's trying to, and he's come. This guy named Trump has come to this town, and the sheriff is in the town, and this is the town that the show is about. And so he comes to town, and is telling people that there's going to be a meteor that strikes the town, and there's only one way to protect yourself is to build a wall around the town. And so literally this Trump character in this 1950s black and white cowboy show, this Trump figure named Trump, who in the movie is a charlatan and they're showing how he's a crook and a criminal. He says literally, "Are y'all gonna help me build that wall?" I mean, this is what he says. He says, build, not the wall, build that wall. You know, a full 65 years, 70 years before before Trump's slogan in 2016, build that wall, build that wall. Oh, I'm doing a live video. I'll be back in a minute. You see what I'm saying? So this is planned as in last generation planned. So the things that you're seeing now have been planned for a very, very long time. And I don't know how you look that far in the future in order to get things done without it being some sort of spiritual, some sort of malevolent spiritual force that is helping you do this. Do you see what I'm saying? The fact that this exists at all proves that, you know, there's some other worldly wickedness going on behind the scenes that we don't see, right? And not only this, from that show, guess what happens to Trump at the end of the episode? At the end of the episode, Trump gets shot. At the end of that cowboy episode, Trump is shot, struggling for a gun. Do you see what I'm saying? These things are not coincidences, not 75-year-old coincidences. No, they're playing from a full-on script. They're playing from a full-on, already planned and coordinated series of events that they're just playing right into. This is what the Julio Fulio video was about, that people are in place to do the things that they're doing. And even the guys that are taking credit for killing them in these rap videos and all that are playing a role because they couldn't control things like the media coverage and the police investigation. They're not putting out, because the police are putting out the photos of Julio Fulio dead. So they can't control that, right? The police, the ones that gave this opposite gang the kill shots, right? The pictures of the body, like they took them, but the policeman's reflection is in the car of him taking the picture. So the police are involved. I saw a video last night of a dude in a black man face mask, and you know it looks kind of weird, but at night in a certain you know under muted light, you can definitely get away with this being somebody black and it not being somebody black. Like they're wearing a face mask of a black person. Do you see what I'm saying? This is this is the underlying current that is going on in America. The spirit of deception is everywhere. And the way that it works is it has a psychological effect on you, and then you go and are motivated to do these other things, right? Well, we know voting is not what puts people in the White House. That's not what it is. It's not what voting is even about. Voting is a metric on how well their psychological operations are working in politics. By the amount of people that go out and vote, that tells you how many people still believe in the system. Do you see what I'm saying? Because you have to believe in the system to get up and spend your time to do this thing when you should know that it is absolutely not going to matter. Do you see what I'm saying? But people do. People get up and they go out, they spend all day, they early vote, they do all of these different things and are proud to do that, proud to be able to participate in the political process, proud to be able to show that they have a representative. Do you see what I'm saying? And then that representative goes and starts wars and continues wars and continues the war in the black community. All of these different things are continued, but the policies that are put in place have to be your policies. Why? Because you voted for them. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see how you have to be complicit in your own deception in America? You have to literally be on one side or the other in the public media space. You can't say, "Oh, well, I don't participate in politics." Well, they say, "Oh, okay, well, you're the problem then, because since you didn't vote, that means the other guy's gonna get in." No, no. I mean, do you guys remember 2001 when they put whoever they wanted to be in the White House in the White House? Yeah, in 2001, they put whoever they wanted to be in the White House in the White House. You see what I'm saying? In 2001, they put Bush in there because they wanted him in there. The race was so close, they could have put either candidate in and it'd been all right, right? I remember in 2000, when I saw all the foolishness and all the craziness around the election with Bush and Gore. I mean, this tell you how old I am. But when I saw all that, I saw that as a young adult. And I'm thinking to myself, dang, they really, really just put whoever they want in there. And it's not clicking to me that I voted and it didn't matter that I voted, that they did whatever they wanted to. I just thought in my head, man, ain't no telling what's gonna, and you know what? I don't think I did vote in that one. I think I was just too young to vote in that one. I think I had just missed the cutoff. But I thought to myself, man, ain't no telling what's gonna happen from this kind of switcheroo that they did. Is this something that they kind of did? Ain't no telling what's gonna happen. And then sure enough, 9/11, right? Sure enough, 9/11. And I'm not making the connection back then that, hey, this president and 9/11 are kind of going hand in hand. I'm not making that connection back then. But I mean, it's clear as day now. I mean, it's very clear to me now that they needed Bush in that position to handle everything that they had going, and that they just put him there, right? I mean, I don't believe in the political process, not whatsoever. It's, in my eyes, a ritual, just like everything else in America is a ritual. It's a ritual it's like the ancient Roman worship of the state, worship of the Caesar, that you have to go and give your tribute in town as a method of worship for this particular Caesar. You know, there was a state cult in ancient Rome. Hey, there was a state cult in ancient Rome that in this state cult, you had to participate every year, right? You had to come and pay your tributes to Caesar as a god, right? And if you don't do that, yeah, well, necessarily maybe not as a pantheon of the gods, but you still got to put your money in as if this is your religion, the state religion of Rome, where the Caesar is the utmost authority, right? And so this is what we're dealing with in modern times. You literally are putting your sacrifice before the throne by dropping your opinion in the ballot, especially when recognizing that the person at the helm does not look like you, does not have any of your interest at heart, and is historically violent against your people. Every person in the office of president has been historically violent against black people. Do you understand that John F. Kennedy, who is supposed to be, the leader of human rights and civil rights, this is when John F. Kennedy is president during the 60s, when all sorts of racial unrest is going on. Do you see what I'm saying? I mean, every piece of racial everything is happening in the 60s. Riots and all sorts of killings. And I mean, who do you think is the leader? But who is the mafia boss that's behind all of these things? You see what I'm saying? It's the person in the position of president, right? And they're getting ready right now to start that state cult again. That's what this is. That's what you're looking at. You're looking at the beginnings of the state cult, because all of this is programming people to love President Trump or former President Trump on a spiritual level. This is going to be for the people that already love Trump, a spiritual, you know, bolstering, for their fervor for this person. Do you see what I'm saying? At his word, they're already marching and protesting. At his word, people are already stocking up, buying guns, and, race crime has gone up all over the United States since he's even been a political figure. Do you see what I'm saying? The world is changing because of who President Trump is, right? All over the world, right-wing politicians are being put into position because of the popularity of former President Trump, because of his rhetoric, because of his, style, his aggressive style. The world is changing because of him. And so this is no small matter. If people all around the world believe that he's a symbol for some sort of Christian freedom, then you've got a problem. You've got a problem as being black in America. And here it is. You're not even going to be able to say that this was a staged event. They're going to make that hate speech. If President Trump gets back to be president, they're going to say that if you say this is staged, this is hate speech. You understand? You're not going to be able to say these things. All of the restrictions that are being put in place by Israel now, because there's a lot of things that you can't say about Israel that they haven't started prosecuting yet, but they will. All of these precedents are being set to curtail free speech in such a way as to where that it's going to be kill time when people start protesting. You understand what I'm saying? And the people that are saying that this is a scam, this is staged, are just the other side, just the people that are Democrats that have been supporting Joe Biden for the past 4 years, who hadn't been able to string together a sentence since we've been in the presidential spotlight. He hadn't been able to put a sentence together, and everybody knows that. And so that's staged too. The politicians surrounding Joe Biden are the ones that are running the White House now. And so there's already an undercover agenda going on. Already. And it's connected in such a way that now you're looking at the other side, the Democratic side, being old, withered, and out of touch, and really, really crazy. And then the other side being this legendary bullet dodging hero that is fighting for the average American white man. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see the type of legacy that they are building for Trump? And it goes beyond just in politics too, because here you have his name actually being a symbol also for biblical prophecy, right? At the last trump. Do you see what I'm saying? The dead will rise at the last trump. What is this? 1 Corinthians, 2 Thessalonians. This is in a couple different places. But the term Trump is used in the scripture. Do you guys know that Trump's family name was not Trump? It was actually like Grumpf or something like that 150 years ago. They changed his name to Trump. The family name became Trump like 120, 130 years ago. Do you know that a guy named Trump starts a civil war in the United States in a book written 100 years ago? I used to have the book when I was in the States because I'm like, dang, I've got to have the proof of this. Nobody's going to believe me. I've got to have the actual literal proof so I can show somebody that this has been written. His son's name is Barron Trump, and the book is called The Adventures of Barron Trump. And the Trump figure starts all these wars and is a political whatever. You see what I'm saying? So all of this stuff is set for you to fall into it. And it's 100 years set for you to fall into it, right? And at intervals in time along the way, they're bolstering it before you even know who these people are. Do you see what I'm saying? This is the type of spiritual warfare we're dealing with in America. How in the world do you combat that sort of psychological programming? How do you combat it? If you are just out in the world and you're just being influenced as a regular person, how are you able to withstand this type of psychological programming? What do you do? I haven't been a regular person in like 10 years, right? Because I've seen, what I've seen, and hallelujah for being able to see what really is. But I just can't imagine myself walking around every day and being a regular person and not being supremely influenced by what's going on in some sort of strange way. I don't know where I would be if I was a regular person consuming all of this propaganda in the way that it's put out. I don't know where I'd be. Hallelujah that we're in the text, that we're in the script, because we can see this stuff coming from a mile away. We saw this 10 years ago that this was going to happen. It's been in the media for 50 years that Trump was going to be semi-assassinated or assassinated. It's literally been in the media since 1954. Right? I saw a video, no, the same video that pointed this particular old episode of this cowboy show out to me. The man in this video predicted the entire thing in 2016. He put this video out in 2016, and there was all sorts of media references to Trump being shot. There was some sort of balloon parade in New York City in Times Square for the Apprentice finale, years ago in 2012 or something like that. And they've got a Trump balloon going down the street, and they're having some sort of parade, and the balloon's head pops, right? And he's saying that this is a reference for the assassination attempt. And in this video from 2012, 13, 14, something like that, he's saying that all of these references in society are referencing some sort of assassination of Trump. Even before he makes it to actual presidency, all of these things have been predicted before, right? And not even by people who are in the scriptures, just a whole bunch, but people who are paying close enough attention and say, wait a second, these things are pointing towards an end. And that end looks like it's assassination. And here we are in 2024 with a real life assassination attempt. Now, here's the thing. Is it a real life assassination attempt? No, it's not. It's still, this programming is still this stage play, what they're calling KFAB, is KAYFABE, where there's a lot of people. And so here's the thing that they do a lot and that people aren't ready for because they don't know how cults operate. Cults have a lot of people in them and they all are working towards the same goal and they're all liars. So when you have people like that, then the possibilities are endless, right? You can really set up a lot of things that you wouldn't be able to set up before. The wag the dog style of propaganda. What KFAB is, what they're doing is they're putting a bunch of people into a scene or into a place where everybody in the place knows that there's some sort of that there's that this stage that they're acting. But part of their acting is to act as if it's real, right? They're all performing a play, but a part of the play is to pretend that the play is real. And so this is what all newscasters are doing. This is what all politicians are doing. This is what all media people are doing. This is what all actors are doing. All these people are in reality acting too. Do you see what I'm saying? So when you look at these mass shooting events, and there was another guy that I was watching today that talked about this too. When you look at these mass shooting events, when you're seeing, people that are actually dying, right? Because don't think that they're not going to kill people to make this as real as they possibly can make it. Because they have what they call terminal psychological experiments. And they've been doing these for years now. Look up Dr. Ewan Cameron, look up MK Ultra. You guys probably are familiar with all these things, but what they really are called terminal psychological experiments. There was a video that I watched that detailed how they began these programs back in the 40s and 50s and 60s. There was this psychologist that the government requested to be a part of these terminal experiments, right? And said, hey, we've got these programs, these operations that we want you to lead, and we want you to actually do like all of these different things to this patient. And then at the end of the, hey, how you doing? And at the end of this experiment, the patient doesn't survive. And the psychologist was asked to perform these types of experiments. And his response was, not only will I do these for you, I'll do them for free. Is what he said. He said, I'll do them for free. You kidding? And so this is back in the 60s. And what emerges from that, what evolves from that, is actually them putting this same type of psychological experiment out in front of everybody for everybody to be influenced by it. And so the people that you see that are dying, that are literally dying in these operations, are the victims of the operations themselves. They are the terminal patients that at the end of the experiment don't make it. That the destiny for the end of this experiment is that they are killed, right? And so that's why you see the actual sniper in this staged KFAB event. That's why you see the sniper being killed. People are like, oh, well, nobody's going to shoot that close to the president or the former president, because what if he misses? What if there's wind gusts? What if anything happens? No, this can't be staged because of the accuracy of it. Come on, guys. You have to know that President Trump was a wrestler. He's an actor. He was on WWE, WWF, whatever, right? He was one of the, he's like Macho Man. You know, he was coming out on stage like Macho Man, right? How do you learn how to do that? You're trained. And in wrestling, what would they do? They would have the blood capsules in their hand, and they get hit, and they get hit. And one of those hits, he'd pop the capsule. He's going to pop the capsule. And if you look at the video, Trump goes for his ear, and then he goes down, and he comes up, and he's got the blood on his ear. He's got to pop the capsule. That's all he's got to do. You can hear the bangs from wherever, whenever. There don't have to be any shots. There don't have to be any bullets flying at all. You hear the bangs, you see the blood, you're going to put two and two together. And then check this out. You have a real sniper in some other position take out someone around them, because they say that maybe one of the rally members got killed. There was a possibility that one of the rally members got killed. I've heard that one of them was killed. Then I heard that one of them wasn't killed, that the only casualty was the sniper. But even if there was an additional casualty, this is still, you know, par for the course, because they are absolutely willing to sacrifice a life or two to make this propaganda work. In fact, it's required, because with every ritualistic sacrifice, which is what this is a love spell for the former president, for, you know, to make people love him even more, and people that were maybe on the fence, push them over, right? There has to be some bloodshed. If this is a ritualistic process, like people are saying it is, then there has to be a sacrifice involved too, right? And that's what we see here. We see exactly that. You see what I'm saying? To make it, to put the exclamation point on it, let's give you some real blood along with the fake blood, right? And people are acting as if this isn't a possibility, that the government wouldn't be like willing and able to perform such a ritual on the public at large. They are and did. They did. I mean, you can even look at January 6th. They opened the doors. They got people that died there too, right? This is all ritual. This is all manipulation. This is the way that it works. This is the way that you are brainwashed in the community to be what most people are today in America, puppets for one side or the other. And we know they are both for the same causes, but if you're fighting one another, then you can't look up towards the people that are actually against you, towards the people that are actually manipulating you. And this will start a civil war, because maybe this is the last time. Maybe now he's, you know, encased in all of this presidential security. Maybe not, because still all of those different media suggestions or predictive programming, all that's still out there, right? All that he's actually going to, you know, get killed, all that's still out there, right? All of it is. So who knows what's going to happen in the future? But if he does, bet you, bet your bottom dollar that it starts a war that same day. And you don't want to be around for that war because that's a war that the police are going to be involved in. That's a war that the military are going to be involved in the United States. And is it a coincidence that there was a movie called Civil War that came out this year? Right? These are just some of the things that are going on in America. You guys, I'm not in America. I'm in sunny Africa right now. So all of this, all of this political theater is not gonna affect me. I'm gonna be, and me and my family are not gonna be involved in this whatsoever. But not my immediate family, but my my uh, my secondary, my parents, my cousins, and all those different people, they're going to be right in the midst of it, in the thick of it, right? With people who are influenced one way or the other, and and how much you want to bet the first person that says somebody is staging Trump, is gonna get socked or this is gonna cause so much political turmoil. It's gonna cause so much social turmoil that, man, I'm just blessed to not be in the United States right now. My family is blessed not to be in the United States right now to have to put up with this. If you can imagine knowing what it actually is, then having to walk around quiet like you don't know what it is, with people water cooler talking about, oh, this and that. And if you was first time you come up and say, man, this is a fake, da 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 da, people on both sides ready to look at you like, man, what you talking about, right? And so this is just some of the stuff that's going on in your world right now. And so you guys got to watch out. You got to guard yourself from this propaganda because it's everywhere. And it's taking the form, of violence, right? They are not above using violence to persuade people to do things. And it's not going to be the type of violence that you're accustomed to, like Tiananmen Square or Kent State, where there's just soldiers and they're like marching and shooting people down. It's going to be that too eventually. But to get you to that point, they're going to have some people on your side, on their side, the people that look like you on their side. And that's what they're doing too. They're trying to make it like Trump being shot, Trump having children out of wedlock, Trump being a felon, Trump being, possibly put in jail. Like that makes him more black or more appealing to black people. Like our culture is jail and drama and guns and baby mamas. Come on. This is what we're dealing with. This type of propaganda is dangerous. And you guys got to get as far from it as you can, y'all. Spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically. You see what I'm saying? Okay, you guys. Believe that's all I got. Shalom, shalom for the people that checked in. Shalom, shalom, y'all.